This is how I rebuild my habits. Since 2014, I have been on this journey of trying to understand how the habits we build or try to build really affect our routine and us affect the habits itself. It's interesting because it's a self-fulfilling, it's a self-contained, it is a it's a closed system, which means that you try to build a habit and the habit builds itself, and when the habit builds itself it also builds you back, and this is valid both for positive habits and bad habits. And why am I talking about habits over here? Because this is important for our growth. And one thing that I always realize is whatever we do on our business life, we also do in our personal life. So basically, I am rebuilding a system that I have been creating since 2014, which have those four steps, the last two, three, four, and five. And I have one more step, which I think is interesting for me to talk about. And one thing that I have been experiencing recently is I have been struggling to get back to my past life, the life that I used to have before moving to England. But honestly, I just remembered that the life I wanted to live, which is I started to live it before I had the life. And then I become, and the things just happen. So I was thinking about that as well with the definition of the dream day. And this slide over here, it has nothing. I'm going to create some assets. I'm going to share with you the assets in different videos. But for this one, this video, what I want to talk about is to explain the framework altogether. And then you can make sense of if it's interesting to you, and you can follow and download the assets I'm going to share on the next video, on the upcoming videos. But I have around 300 and something, almost 400 different students in courses in Portuguese for habit formation, marketing, technology, and launches and some different stuff. And one thing that I realized is in 2014, when I kind of started my journey, it was because of one single event. A family member of mine, they got sick, and I spent like 3 days going back and forth in the hospital. But I was kind of getting the habit of reading a book every single day. And what ended up happening was about 6 months later, I realized I stopped. For that one specific week, I stopped reading. Why does that matter? Why I'm talking about that? Because I didn't realize. So I then started to use the first asset, which is so important, tracking. By tracking our habits, and not only tracking, because you will forget to track, but having a system to make it easier, not to force, just make it smooth, just make it natural. For you to go back and track every single day, you will be able to remember, oh yes, I decided to read a book. And it was like yesterday, not 6 months ago, like it happened with me. So I'm repeating this system because there is something that I have been struggling lately, which is to break the barrier of the 10K a month. So whenever I do it, I kind of go back and something happened. I sabotage myself probably, and I want to find out why. And one of the things is affirmations, self-hypnosis is something that basically we try to attack the parts in our not body, our brain, our mind that somehow are try to attack us to limit our growth, our beliefs. So by understanding how to attack, you create the affirmations to rewrite the brain. Of course, there's a little bit of a technique. It's not just to read stuff. It basically is, but there's a few different ways. I'm going to explain it in the future. But the thing about this system is, if you are the person, you will behave the way this kind of person behaves, and you have the things that this kind of person who behave in specific ways behaves. And in the last 6 months, I had such an amazing experience with different people and understanding how they move through life. Some bad experiences, some good experiences, and bad experiences as are always only the experience that we don't want to have had, but they are there anyway, and they help us to understand and align our journey. So within those experiences, I understood that somehow I was engaging with people, one particular person that I didn't want to engage. It was a client. The relationship is ended already, but I let the relationship keep going. And one thing that is quite bizarre is love the guy, amazing, ambitious, and all of it. But I was letting myself not identify with my identity, with the life I wanted to live. And then when it stopped, when the relationship, the professional relationship ended, what happened was I started to get it all back. Things started to flow through me. And I hit the ceiling, which is the self-limiting belief ceiling. And now, how do we go past the ceiling? How do we keep growing? Which is the question I'm asking over here. And yeah, so it's the framework. Let me explain the framework because I'm just talking and rambling around over here. But I hope somehow this may be inspiring, maybe interesting, maybe whatever. But I'm going to share the assets with you as well in the future. The framework has 5 different steps. The first one, which is the new one, which is the first is basically I was having a walk last week, and I'm walking and talk with ChatGPT voice mode, which is quite fun, and enlightener as well. So you might try if you haven't. And I noticed that during the conversation, kind of, I was like, oh, wait a second. So I want to have this specific life, but I'm behaving like somebody who does not want to have the life. So what the heck am I doing? And then I always refer back to something which is, oh God, so what is my dream day? Which used to be the first step. My dream day is a day that I do everything that I want because I am the person that do that kind of stuff every single day. So starting with identity, I wrote down some things over there on my whiteboard. And it starts by you state some goals. And the goals need to translate into identity. Why? Because a goal is a behavior, but the identity is what you do every day because it's the kind of stuff that you do. I'm going to give 2 examples as I have over here the write a book. It's a goal. And I have for 2025, so it's a goal for 2025. It's not just, oh, I'll give to the universe and the universe is going to provide. No, let's not talk about that. But if I have the goal to write a book at 2025 by January 1st, 2026, actually, and I'm writing a book every single day, 2 words, not 2 words, 2 pages, let's say. Am I a writer? Yes, I am. If I write every single day, I am a writer. If uh, I am running constantly every week, I am a runner. And I have the goal, which is to beat the TAF, which is military exercise entry level test, which is it is basically means that I will be able to have high performance. So we define identity, meaning who am I? What are the key things that I identify myself as? A writer, a runner, reach, a digital creator, Italian speaker, explorer, a superhuman. And you attach goals to those ones. And the interesting part, and that's why I never really liked goals, is of course I have financial goals and all of that stuff, but we can define the goal, but we cannot define schedule for it. So if we stop and think about what makes an explorer, what makes me an Italian speaker, it is going to change throughout time. It will keep changing throughout time. So, for example, the Italian speaking identity actually can even change, which is a person who has the love for learning languages, which is I love to learn language. My dream day has language learning. So this is the first step. The second step is okay. So let's boil down and build our habits. And let me show you something. This spreadsheet is basically the second step, which is the log at dream day. So this is to me my dream day. I like to work on the stuff I like to work. I like to automate a lot of the stuff I'm doing. So I have a few things over here that will make me fulfilled. Maybe not all of them. Maybe sleeping a bit more would be better. Maybe I need to have a power nap over here, which I probably need. And I like to fast. Like it's very important to me. And I also have to limit my daily calls. Why? So basically between, for example, 3 p.m. and 9 p.m., I can have calls. And two things happen, which is the first one is I like to not communicate with anybody as soon as I wake up, and my first message should be when I finish my day. But at the same time, I need to follow up with people, so this is kind of inside work. So I need to communicate. But communication, like communication outside it needs to be in different time. So basically, and because most of my clients are in the US, it's so easy for me because 3 p.m. UK is basically 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Yeah, something like that in the US CST. So, okay, so this is basically my dream day. And what happens is, on this second step, is you define your dream day, and now you have the accountability of getting it to run. Nice. This is beautiful. What I'm going to do with that? Am I going to just leave it over here and forget it forever? No. What we need to do next is to really find a way to be able to go back into it without thinking. And this is the third step, which is the outsource thinking. And the simplest solution is this. This $25 Mi Band is the solution for it. So what this means is not only that, but mostly it. Interruption-based productivity. And this means that I do not need to be thinking about what am I going to do next again. I have all these client projects. I have like 7, 8, 9 clients. And what do I do? Next. And then you have this massive procrastination because you do not know what to do. You don't need to be overwhelmed. We just need a notification. Of course, you need to have a project management. I am using Todoist after 4 years loving ClickUp, and I still love ClickUp, but it's slow. And I was realizing that I was stopping to use it just because it's slow. So it takes 1 second to load stuff, 2 seconds to load stuff. I just can't. So yeah, I'm back to Todoist, and what I do is I just plug and play stuff. I drag and drop, actually drag and drop it from Todoist, and it moves through my calendar, and I just get notified. And I'm going to also talk about that one over here. And oh, one thing that I forgot to talk about in the beginning is why am I doing that? Is because I have these courses online. It's in Portuguese again, and to review it in English and update, of course. But it's interesting because it's like it's the one thing that I love to do. I love to do consultations. I love to do courses. I love to do mentorship, but it's not something you can start with. It's expensive to start, but in the long run, it's fulfilling and it does bring a lot of money. But I have been procrastinating it forever because I'm always thinking in locked in the behavior of I need to lock in. I need to lock in and keep doing the stuff I'm doing over and over again, which is interesting. It's amazing. It helps, and I'm getting more money, and I'm growing linearly, but I can grow exponentially. So the outsource thinking means that I need to make sure that actually I'm following that stuff. And the way to do it is by not thinking about it. And the reason why I'm doing it is all the courses that I had. When I first started in marketing back in 2016, I was horrible. So I have a folder which is called the Dark Ages. And inside the Dark Ages folder, you will find 100 and something projects that I did for clients, and all of them they lost their money because I was horrible at the things I was doing. So the first 4 years I was horrible. And then I had this, I don't know, let's say a depression month, and out of the depression month, I had this idea: what if I create a course? Because I do not know anything, but people ask me stuff, and they say I'm helpful to them. And what? So it is was 2020. It was not my first shot. Actually, I had already built. I tried 6 different launches. My seventh was the one that did really work and brought a lot of money to me. But the first was 2018, and it was about habit formation. So I have I think it's 37 different rules for how to deal with the habits and how to put them into a database way, just so you can analyze and properly optimize week by week, which is basically step 4. So it's interesting because it started at the end. It started step 4, which is what are the rules I need to be following? And actually it started step 5, which is the one that I'm not going to talk about today because I haven't ever spoke about that one, so I need to think about it a little bit more to explain it a bit better. But basically step 4, which is to review and improve, it means that you're going to be looking after what you're doing, what you said you're going to be doing, and you're always going to review. So my habit formation course, one of the things that I said, the data analysis that you need to do weekly is, if you decide to do something, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to read a book, and you decide the level of the habit. Let's say that this is a habit that needs to be repeated 3 times a day or 3 times per week. And at the first week, you do it twice. The third week, you do it once. Oh, the first week you do it twice, the second week you do it twice, the third week you do just once. So you failed your the repetitions like 3 times. But the method says, it's pretty explicit. If you fail it twice, the goal must change, because there's another thing embedded into it, which is basically I took it from the Power Habit, which is to not break the chain. You cannot break the habit or the agglomeration of the habit, kind of the weekly habit, twice. If you break it twice, you need to go back and change it. What do I mean by that? Is if you decide to run daily, like 15 minutes a day, and you're not running daily, go for a walk for 50 minutes. If you can't, go for a walk for 10 minutes. If you can't, reduce the frequency. So the frequency so we have two stuff that we can manipulate the habit. Nice. I know it's getting a bit complicated, but yes, this first part is very chaotic because I don't have a script. I just wanted to open my camera and talk about the system, but special document whatever I'm doing. And I think this is also going to help me, because one thing that is interesting is, if I have on my identity document that I am a YouTuber, I am a digital creator, I do not need to make room for anything on my calendar to come over here and talk. For example, if you watch my last videos, my last 3 videos or 4 videos, you're probably going to see something like a video of me saying, "Oh, I'm going to log, I'm going to document here," but I was just creating a new task, and this task was not aligned with whatever I was doing, which was, I need to get money because the next guy. But honestly, this is the way. This is the way. Is I need to live the life I want to live, just so I can live the life I want to live. Now, today. So yeah, what's going to happen is, I'm defining my identity, which is digital creator. And by defining the identity, I do not need to make room for it. Of course, I'm going to have on my calendar, oh, record a video for YouTube daily. But I don't need to think about it in the sense of, oh, wait a second. If I am a digital creator, if I'm a YouTuber or whatever, it's not against my tasks. It doesn't matter because I am. So am I a human being? Yes, I am a human being. So do I complain of the fact that I need to eat and sleep most of the days? That was weird to say, but yes, I don't even gonna explain why I say that. But yeah. So it started over here, which I'm gonna just explain very quickly. The last step is basically your environment, which is, I was talking to my brother last week, and one thing that I was thinking, which is quite interesting and fun, is me and you, we are our dads and our moms and all the blood, the gene that we have. It expresses itself in the same exact way, given the same environment, which is interesting because I just was talking to myself and I found out, oh, wait a second. If I change the environment and having the same genes, I'm going to change the behavior. I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to change everything just by changing the environment. So it's not about effort. It's not about forcing yourself to do anything that you do not want. It's about being yourself. in a different place. I was thinking, for example, of who is and where is my group, like the group of people that I want to hang out with. And I asked this question when I was back in Brazil, and I was like, oh God, so the people I want to hang out with. And because of that question, I moved to a place that is like 2,000, 2,200 miles away from where I was living. So yeah, Brazil is massive. So I moved to a different place because that was the people I wanted to hang out with. And I was thinking about that recently and was like, oh God, so the people I hang out with, they are everywhere. So they are in America, they are in Dubai, there's a lot of people in Dubai. They are moving around, having events in different places. So I have an event in Thailand, for example, from a mentor of mine, Nico Hessel from Upwork Outbound. And I want to go there. And then I need to be the person who hang out with those people. So I need to change some stuff. So the number 5 is basically the environment. How do you adjust your environment? For example, I was talking to my daughter yesterday, last week, I don't know, about what I do before I go to sleep every single day. So I have my coffee over here, and I also have somewhere, I have MCT oil, which helps me with my fasting. And I also have electrolytes. And one thing that is interesting is when I wake up, I want to both die and kill somebody at the same time. So because I know that when I go to sleep, before I go to sleep, I drop some 1 teaspoon of MCT oil inside my mug, and I leave the electrolytes right over here, close to my laptop, just so I won't be able to work unless I literally move this thing physically out of the way. So I'm gonna take one pill. And my coffee is ready to be brewed, and I just need to click a button. That's it. And why? Because the friction, my willpower when I wake up is 0. So what do? I make arrangements with myself just so I am allowed to, I do not need to have any willpower at all, not even to move an object to wake up. So the environment is one important piece of the puzzle. Yeah, so this summarizes everything without structure. You probably didn't understand anything that I just said. So if you did, congratulations, you are amazing. But I hope you didn't, because, I mean, maybe you did, and that's okay. But if you did not, and if you want to understand, I'm going to explain every single one of those. Let me quickly summarize in like 30 seconds. We define identity, which means who are you? When people ask, oh, are you a YouTuber? I'm going to say, yes, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. Doesn't matter if I have 20 subscribers, I'm a YouTuber if I record videos for YouTube. The log dream day is the lifestyle you want to live is not in the future, because the future does not exist. If you don't bring it to the present, it's never going to exist. So you basically do. Oh, and by the way, I know this looks like a very work intensive routine, and it kind of is. But I built myself to be able to like that kind of routine. And right now I need to go an extra mile, but I'm going to remove 2 hours of work over here, because right now I think there's 14 hours of work or something like that. But I also have an app that I built, a simple one, which is it helps into understanding how you can create a habit planner like this one. And it exports in CSV. So yeah, I vibe coded this one in Gemini quite quickly, like 1 hour or something. And it just helped me to build the CSV, which I imported to Google Sheets, which make it easier to understand. So basically, this is the routine I can withstand. It's not like you cannot create a routine like this if you're not used to it. So if you want to have more leisure time, if you don't do fasting, don't do something like this. If your role involves calling people, you cannot do something like this. If you don't want to, you need to stop being somebody who need to call people. But the dream day is the day you want to live, like every day, not every day, Monday to Saturday, Monday to Friday, or whatever. Like the normal day, but it's the dream day. It's not like the perfect day in vacation. It's the perfect normal day. The outsource thinking is, I remember I spent so much time thinking about it and trying to understand that we are different people inside of us. We are different people. And it was only last year when I met an amazing guy, an amazing client, to me is a mentor to me. And he told me about the E-Myth. And I read the book and it was like, oh God, so yes, he identified the business owner, and when I say business owner, it's professional as a business owner, as three different people. So you are the owner, you are the manager, and you are the operator. You cannot be the operator and the manager, or the manager and the owner, or the owner and the operator at the same time. Because if you do, there's conflicts over there. So you need to be different people in different parts of your life. Meaning, the outsource thinking is 80%, 90% of our day is just in operational execution mode. And this mode does not have room for thinking. If you think, you procrastinate, which is now procrastinate is two words now. So if you need to think to do something, which is the thing that you want to do, you will procrastinate. So what you do, you have interruptions, outsource thinking. And this also means a project manager and something to help you with that. So I'm going to provide some templates on what I have been doing because, again, the reason why I started teaching that stuff online back in 2014 when I kind of was 101, and 2018 when I did get group mentorship and I had a large, massive community of people who have information in marketing and technology. And why I'm teaching all of that is two reasons. The first one is because I struggle with it. It doesn't matter. It's one interesting thing is if you do not feel like the stuff that you do right now is horrible, it means that you're not progressing enough. I mean, not progressing. If you don't want to progress, that's enough for you. But progressing enough, progressing a lot means the person that I am right now cannot recognize the person that I was 6 months ago. And this is valid for so many things in life. For exercise, for physical health, with my own right now is just horrible. I am weighing like 260 pounds. And one of the things that we're going to also have is a spreadsheet to track all those metrics, including outbound prospection, a lot of different stuff regarding my business career as well. But if you don't feel afraid to deliver something that somebody is not going to like, is because the stuff that you're doing is the same as you have been doing for the past 10 years. And if you've been doing the same stuff for the past 10 years, you are an expert. Is it? Because the world is changing all the time. And it's not just because of AI. If you were a castle architect in the 15th century and you just did the same castle for 10 years, so the average lifespan of a castle is 3 years. This means the moment where it's finished to be built and the moment where somebody finds a way to break into the castle. That's massive. So you see ruins of castles instead of castles that are still in perfect shape. It is not because time destroyed the castle. It was someone, a lot of someone's. Yeah. So review and improving is an important part. And if you don't have the system, sometimes you go into operation mode forever. You just work hard like crazy, and you go and you don't even know why you're doing it anymore. And you just lose motivation. Like sometimes I do. So review and improve, very important. Let's do it. And finally, the environment. And what is the environment? The environment, it might be even the first one, actually, not the last one. Yeah, I'm gonna review that. I'm gonna bring the templates to you, like things that you can do, and because I also have most of those templates. I have data, or I have spreadsheets. I have data. I have data analysis methods. I have a lot of things that I do to try to understand what can I do or not. And it's all based on data. You should not be thinking, oh, it is so hard for me to do to run. It's not. It's just. Did you run? Yes, no. Did the number hit 3? No. Okay, so you need to stop doing it. And you might hate it, but it's the method. So I don't think, I don't take decisions, I create framework. And this is one thing that is interesting about me is Before doing something, I create the fucking framework. Even if it's the wrong framework, I create the framework. Because with a framework, you can have a good framework. But without a framework, you won't do good. Because your worst day, your bad days are coming. And when they do, you won't do your best unless you have a framework. So frameworks help because we are human beings. So we change. And that's it. I hope this video was interesting to you somehow. And thanks for listening, for watching, or whatever you did over here. Hope you like the next ones. And if you do, please let me know in the comments which of the 5 steps are the ones that you most identify yourself with, and the ones that you would like the most to have me documenting over here. Again, thanks, and I wish you an amazing life. Bye-bye.